There was once a guy who really wanted to make money online. He would tell the world of his aspirations, tell people of everything he would accomplish. He had these massive goals to be successful and to achieve everything he ever wanted in his life. And he would go about buying the courses, he would go about getting the mentors, he would go about watching the content online, reading the books, absorbing the information, because this is what he wanted. He knew the information was going to help him achieve success. He knew if he kept working, he would achieve success. And that through the courses, through the mentorship, through all of this, it would all work out for him. Yet when nobody was watching, he was not taking the action he needed to be taking. He was still snoozing his alarm. He still wasn't hitting the gym. He still wasn't eating right. He wasn't putting in the extra hours, and he was slacking to achieve his goals. Though he talked about the success, though he talked about it all, that he liked to show people that he was making progress, when nobody was watching, he wasn't operating as the best version of himself. And he'd wonder, why haven't I hit my goals yet? Why is it I continue to work and I don't see the success that I imagined? Why is it that no matter how many goals I set, no matter how much information I try to intake, no matter how much action I seem to take, I still don't see my dreams come true? And eventually, he realized that it was him, that he didn't want it bad enough, that he didn't know his reasons why he wanted to achieve success, that nothing changed. Even though he realized this, he continued on. He knew that he needed to change. He knew these habits that he had when nobody was watching were not helping him, and yet he still did them. And eventually, he hit rock bottom. He realized if nothing changed, if he did not change the person he was, nothing in his life would change. If he continued on the path that he was on right now, if he did not change these habits that did not serve him, if he did not figure out why he needs to actually achieve the success, and why if he continues on the path he's on right now, he won't see it, he'll never achieve it. He'll never see the results he wanted, and it'll all be for nothing. This person was me. I let myself hit rock bottom because I fooled myself into thinking I was doing what was necessary, but when nobody was watching, I didn't put in the effort. I told myself I was working towards my goals, but when nobody was watching, I was putting in maybe 40 to 50% of actual effort. And let's realize this, the people who are successful, the people who achieve greatness, the people who hit their goals in life are not putting in 40 to 50%, they are putting in 110%. They're being the person they need to be when people are watching and when nobody is watching. And so until I found my reasons why, until I got clear on why it was I was even on this journey to success, I struggled. And so once we get extremely clear on our reasons why, we actually understand why it is we're achieving success. We understand why it is we need to wake up early. We understand why we need to be consistent with things like hitting the gym, eating healthy, and these habits we know we should be doing. Yet when nobody's holding us accountable and nobody's telling us we need to be doing them, we don't do them. If I were to tell you, when you wake up in the morning, oh, you just need to get out of bed. You just need to wake up early because. You probably wouldn't do it. You would still hit snooze. If you had no reason to get up out of bed, you would not do it. But if I told you, if you do not get up out of bed, you are not going to be able to afford healthcare for your mother when she's older, and you will not be the man that can support your family because you're going to look back and realize you were a little bitch who didn't put in the effort you needed to do, you would get up out of bed. So when we put it in perspective and we understand why it is we need to achieve success, we actually put in the action, we'll actually do it. But if we have no reason, if we have no understanding of why it is we're here, taking the action, doing what it is to reach success, we won't do it. Because think about this, in 10 years, in 15 years, put it into perspective. Where do you want to be? Do you still want to be financially struggling? Do you still want to be hoping and praying that one day you'll hit your dreams and goals? When you have a kid, do you want them to look at me and say, Dad, why has Cole got a Ferrari? Oh, son, I was a little bitch who couldn't wake up in the morning and do what needed to happen to actually reach my goals. No, you don't want to be that guy. Nobody wants to be that guy. If you have to look your parents when they need healthcare, when they need to go to the hospital, when they need support, and you have to tell them, oh, mom and dad, I can't help you with your medical bills because, I was lazy and wanted to scroll social media and I wanted to watch Instagram Reels. You don't want to be in that position. Nobody does. And so ask yourself, what is it Put it into perspective. What are the reasons I need to achieve the success? Because you don't want to be 10 years down the line looking back and regretting the action you did not take. We have two paths. We either have the path of the pain of consistency and the pain of putting in the effort, or the pain of regret and disappointment for never actually achieving our goals. And we have this choice every day, yet so many guys are not clear on what it is they're actually doing this for, why it is they actually need to achieve success. And so when they look back on themselves a year, 3 years, 5 years down the line and see nothing happened, there was no progress that was made, and wonder why it was that they never got the motivation or the spark or the luck that every successful guy got, they're wrong. It's not that they didn't get the spark. It's not that there wasn't some motivation. It was that they were not clear on why it was they were actually needed to show up. Because if every second you started slacking, that thought came into your mind that, fuck man, I'm not going to be able to provide for my family when I grow up. Fuck, if I don't do this, I'm going to be a loser who has to work an average job, who isn't going to be able to reach his goals, who's going to live a nightmare. Do you want to live that? Because everybody wants to live their dream life, but nobody realizes that the path they're on is leading them towards their nightmare. And nobody wants to live their nightmare. But when we put it into perspective, when we look at the pain or pleasure of achieving success, the pain is this nightmare. The pain is living an average life compared to the success that we want to achieve and everything we want to get. But are you willing to go through the pain of achieving success to reach that pleasure? Because so many guys are not willing to. So many guys want to act like they are willing to. So many guys want to say to other people that they're willing to, but when nobody's watching, they love the pleasure of staying the same. They love the pleasure of scrolling social media. They love the pleasure of not achieving success. But if I were to tell you that in the next 10 years, you are going to have this pain from sitting with this pleasure, of being comfortable, of not changing your current situation, and you felt that pain, and you were that person, if you stepped into a day of your life 10 years from now, and it was the worst day of your life, if you could not provide for your family, if you could not give your kids that trip, if you could not provide for the people you love, would you then come back to today and take the same action? Most likely not. You would take far different action if you felt the pain of your future. Yet so many guys are obsessed with the pleasure of today, the pleasure of scrolling social media, the pleasure of playing games, the pleasure of not being the man they need to be because they don't understand the pain they're going to face. They're scared of the pain of success. They're scared of the pain of moving towards their goals. But if we take a second and put it in perspective, what is the pain of not achieving our goals? When you get extremely clear on that and you remind yourself of that every day and you see the pleasure of achieving success, the pleasure of being able to provide for our family, the pleasure of being able to give our kids the presents they want when they want it, the pleasure of being able to take our family on amazing vacations, the pleasure of being able to take care of our parents, you're going to ask yourself, what lunatic would ever not want this? What lunatic would not ever move towards this? Get clear on this pleasure and get clear on the pain of not receiving it. Because everybody has dreams. Everybody understands they want the money. Everybody wants to take the vacation. Everybody wants something out of life, but they don't understand why it is they even want it. Because if they got extremely clear on the reason I want the money is so I don't have to face these feelings of pain. The reason I want the money is to give myself this feeling of happiness, of pride, of respect. You can give yourself those feelings now by just taking the action. But because you are in love with the pleasure of today and you're not aware of the pain of tomorrow, you are going to continue to take action that is not aligned with those goals and dreams. And I was that person. I talk a lot about my story of taking 6 to 7 months to even get my first client in my agency. And the reason it took so long is because for 6 months, I slacked. I put in 40 to 50% effort. I wasn't actually doing what was necessary. When the day was over, I would log off, I would play games, I would sleep in, I would eat like shit, I wouldn't hit the gym. And so I wasn't aligned with the person I needed to be. But the second I started actually doing what I need to do, the second I put it in perspective and realized this is my life I'm messing with right now. You do not have as much time as you like to think. Time is passing. Think about a year ago. Think about 3 years ago. The goals you have not hit, the things you thought you would do, everything you told people you would accomplish. And where are you at in retrospect to that? And where do you want to be? Because you may have achieved some of that success, but did you achieve all of it? You may have gotten some of what you asked for, but did you get all of it? What was it that we could have actually gotten to? What would you be at and where would you be in life if you hadn't stopped, if you had been consistent, if you had taken the action and done the habits you needed to do? because you're getting an ounce of that pain. You're starting to see the regret of only a year. You're starting to see the regret of only a month of not taking action. Imagine that tenfold. 10 years of not taking action, 100 months of not taking action. What will your life look like? Because I guarantee it is not the life that you want to be living, but you are actively putting yourself in that position. You have the option every day to either get 1% better or 1% worse. Because consistency compounds, and you can either compound it to improve your life or compound it to non-improvement. Because if you improve every day for 1 year, 1% every day for a year, you will get 37 times better. If you compound 1% every day, you will be 37 times better. But if you compound 1% worse every day, consistent non-improvement, you will almost be at zero if you started at 100%. And so ask yourself, where do you want to be in a year? Ask yourself, what is the pain of not being where you want to be in 10 years? What is the pleasure of achieving success? Because until you get clear on this, until you understand it, and until you remind yourself of it when you don't want to take that action, when you're trying to slack, when you feel like sleeping in, when you're not hitting the gym, when you're not eating healthy, think about what that's going to look like. Because it's very easy not to see the effects. If you don't brush your teeth today, no one's really going to notice. If you don't brush your teeth for a week, maybe a few people won't notice. But if you don't brush your teeth for 5 years, you're going to be in massive pain and your teeth are going to be falling out. And when did that happen? When did it all begin? It began today, the day you decided to not take action and the day you decided to slack. That is when you started compounding the marginal gain of non-improvement. So, what could we be doing today to gain the marginal gain of self-improvement? Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, I have a free community where we can help you with finding out your reasons why, building out a strong plan, and actually reaching your goals. I'll also pop up another video here on mastering discipline and gaining the feeling so that you can stay consistent with your habits. And make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed. Thank you everybody for watching. God bless.